Hey, Kevin.
Another Readathon.
Yes. And interestingly, yesterday's Readathon inspired some listeners to reach out to me. I might be wrong about the date rollover thing. Some people saw non-date rollovers in their overnight conversations.
Oh.
And I look back, I have all date rollovers in mine. So some people, if there's less than an hour between responses, don't have the date rollover. But then in other conversations they do. I think it might be an iOS thing.
So might you have been wrong?
In that instance, I may have been. I still think the text thread was edited, and here's why.
It's a screen grab. It's not actual.
It's not actually a text thread. It's a screen grab. That being said, so I look back and I actually looked up a couple articles about this. Ostensibly, after a certain period of time has passed in your text thread, so you get a new date stamp, a new time stamp if more than an hour has passed between texting somebody. Okay. Which is why on the same day you might get a new date and time, even if I've already texted you earlier that day. Okay. You'll see that in our text threads. Okay. After a period of time has passed, say like 6 months, even if it's 11:50 and then 12:01, you're supposed to get the date rollover. Although some people are telling me on their phones they aren't seeing the date rollover in some conversations, but in others they are. So it's inconsistent apparently. So there is a chance that on both Colin and Allie's phones, because we have screen grabs from both of their phones that exactly match up, there is a chance that date rollover didn't happen on both of their phones. So I could be wrong. I'm just going to say it. I don't know.
You cannot prove whether or not it's fake, but the thing is that you cannot...
Not prove it's fake.
No, you cannot prove that it's accurate. Because it's a screen grab.
Right.
You can't prove it's fake, but you definitely cannot verify in any way that that's accurate because they're working from screen grab and not from code.
And also the phones are gone. The other thing that
the phones are gone.
The other thing I can tell you that we did not discuss. That's really weird about their screen grab from their text threads is that they text each other at 12:10 a.m. On January 29th. Best friends and cousins. Best friends.
Yep.
And the next text between them is like February 20th.
Okay.
Like 3 weeks later.
Okay. Yeah. So are you implying that there were a bunch of texts there, but they got deleted? Which we'll just never know? Because we don't have the code?
I'm just saying that's very, very interesting to me. Another thing that I want to talk about briefly, Turtle Boy has a really weird blog today.
Okay.
Paul O'Keefe Facebook messaged him the other night and said, like, I'm taking you down.
Yeah, right.
They've had a subsequent conversation that got really weird.
Okay.
I would just suggest people read it. He wrote a whole blog about it. He showed all the screenshots. Paul O'Keefe later was like, I'm just kidding. Let's play golf. But it's kind of clear that he's sort of also trolling him. The whole thing is like, don't fucking text with Turtle Boy because he'll just post it and write a blog post about it. Like, yeah. I don't know what Paul O'Keefe is thinking, but it also seems like there might be like some weird attempt to sort of like maybe mea culpa, but also like, it's like they're trying to. It feels like it's a trap situation, trying to like lure him out, and and Aiden knows, like he knows he's not stupid. He's not doing anything stupid. He's not saying anything stupid. He's just being like, I have nothing but prayers for you and your family. I just wish that you didn't think Karen Reed was guilty. And Paul's like, no, I think she did it, and whatever, and it's fine. Like there's nothing horrible, but like at one point he does say like, do you think your cellmates will find you attractive? Like Paul says that to. Turtle Boy, and like that's and like he's just like don't say that kind of thing, man. That's unnecessary. Like it's weird. It's a very, very strange series of screenshots. It seems like the first one, which happened at like 1 a.m, may have been, as you pointed out, under the influence of alcohol. At which Turtle Boy actually asked him like, "You've been drinking?" And it seems like later in the thread, Paul doesn't remember having said the first one. Anyway, I would just say my advice to people involved in this case: don't fucking text people while you've been drinking. Don't get into fights while you've been drinking. Just don't do it. It's a terrible idea.
A leopard can't change his spots.
It's interesting because I posted the Readathon and somebody on Facebook responded to what I said in yesterday's, which was like, why can't these people control themselves? Not necessarily Paul, but like, the adjacent people. And this listener said, because they've never had to before.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay. So the thing I really want to talk about right now is something that WBZ reporter Christina Rex.
Put in that for just a second because we have Turtle Boy.
Yeah.
But Turtle Boy is no longer the pride of Worcester.
No.
It's no longer Turtle Boy. It is Horse Boy.
Pommel Horse Boy. Yeah, I almost feel bad because Steven Netarosik, I don't know how to pronounce his name exactly, but it looks like Netarosik or Netarosik, the one event specialist chosen for the U.S. men's Olympic team from Worcester, Massachusetts, is now the pride of Worcester, Massachusetts. Sorry, Aidan Carney, you are no longer the pride of Worcester. But Steven is the one event specialist who was chosen for the men's U.S. 2024 Olympics team, helping them win their first medal in 16 years.
So I'm just going to suggest people, you look it up online, and his routine is great, but the thing about him is that he's this young guy with these thick glasses who looks super nerd-tastic.
Yes.
He's hanging out on the side.
Nerd adjacent.
Like
Clark Kent.
He's just hanging out on the bench there, just sleeping. Not involved in any of the other team things. He just looks like super out of place. Now then he takes his shirt off, and of course, he's built like Superman,
sick.
right?
They're all sick, yeah.
They're all sick because he's a male gymnast, and he does this thing, and he's all squinty because he doesn't have his glasses on.
Can't see.
He's like the guy version of She's All That.
Yeah.
And then he does his thing, and they cheer, and he goes back to putting on his glasses.
That's right. And he performed like a near perfect routine, and he won the U.S. men's Olympic team their first medal, a bronze medal in 16 years. And he's the only member of the U.S. men's gymnastics team to qualify for an event finals.
If you remember the gymnast from the 80s, Tim Daggett, I believe he's now a commentator. Tim was from West Springfield, and his dad was a science teacher in my high school at the time of the Olympics, yeah.
Did you know Mr. Daggett?
I did not take Mr. Daggett's class, no.
Huh.
But I was like, he took some time off. I think that was in the summertime, so he didn't have to take the time off. But
you know what I'm loving about this Olympics?
No idea. What are you loving?
Snoop.
I
fucking love it. And I am so bummed about, I have a couple of joyless people among my Facebook friends who were like, oh, Snoop is just there for the ratings. I don't get it with the Snoop. Fuck you. It's amazing. Snoop is like a great ambassador.
Are they okay with Peyton Manning and Kelly Clarkson?
Snoop is a great ambassador for sports. Snoop has done a bunch for youth sports. Snoop is fucking hysterical. And it's just like he's just doing all these little
stand-in for all the spectators like us.
He's also doing all these great little side adventures, taking all these little Also, Snoop is going to all these obscure sports things, and it's fantastic. His presence there is fan-fucking-tastic. He's sitting with the families.
Nobody complained when it was Matt Lauer and Al Roker doing the luge because it was funny.
Correct. Yeah. Snoop is freaking awesome, and it's just bringing a tremendous amount of joy to the coverage, and I love Snoop. Also, Flava Flav sponsoring the women's water polo team because he found out that a lot of them have second and third jobs. So he's basically financially sponsoring them so that they can play and not have to work second and third jobs in the Olympics. Isn't that great?
That's some real flavor.
Yeah. Also, Flava Flav, huge Swiftie. Huge. He went to a recent Taylor Swift show and she called him out from the stage. Flava.
Hard to miss him if he's wearing the big clock around his neck.
He also wears friendship bracelet.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
What was the thing you wanted to talk about?
Okay. WBZ reporter Christina Rex. I actually predicted this in a previous Readathon. She reports today.
Should we do in a previous Readathon?
That's right. In a previous Readathon. I'm not going to drop the tape. I'm just going to say what I said. The juror that she spoke to, the same juror that she spoke to who confirmed that the jury, when they were deliberating, unanimously said that they were going to vote not guilty on the first and third charges in the Karen Read case, has tried to reach out to the Commonwealth multiple times, in addition to reaching out to the defense team, and has only received responses from the defense team, has heard nothing. They've left multiple calls and voicemails to the Norfolk County DA's office, and they have heard nothing.
Not interested in what she has to say.
Or knew it. People are always asking, why do you think they only felt comfortable reaching out to the defense? I'm like, they definitely reached out to both sides.
Yep.
Definitely. No interest.
Oh, they were reaching out to the judge is probably who they should have been calling, but yeah.
They may have reached out to the judge too, but
yeah, we don't know until
the judge wouldn't. The judge is the judge. What's she going to do? No response from the DA's office. None.
Yeah. I mean, it would be troubling if they did not reach out to the defense. Like they only tried to reach out to the prosecution, and the prosecution did not disclose to the defense any of this information. But it seems like, as usual, stuff just falls into the defense's lap. So,
but guess what? If the prosecution didn't respond, they wouldn't have to disclose it to the defense. They could just pretend they didn't get the call.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I'm implying.
So that's the whole thing. If the prosecution received these calls and voicemails, and they chose not to respond to the juror, they could then later claim that they had no contact with the juror.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, they also have the ability, what is Brady material doesn't necessarily mean everything that the prosecution gets. It means things that are exculpatory. So they may have made the decision themselves that information is not exculpatory.
It's not necessarily exculpatory, but it does make them look bad, right?
Oh, there's not a lot making them look good.
No, it's really bad. There was actually a very interesting article today in the Boston Globe about how difficult it's going to be to retry Karen Read because of 3 officers being under internal affairs investigations. As I've mentioned many times, I don't know how they're going to do it. They have now basically have impeached Proctor, Buchanan, and Tully. These are 3 key officers that all testified in the first trial. And
I'll say that Tully and Bukaki, I'm never going to say his name right, that we don't know specifically what they're looking at, whether it's conduct before the trial in the Karen Read case or conduct after the trial. Because if it's conduct after the trial, then, it shows that maybe they're not great cops, but it's not like something like with Proctor that they could use to impeach their testimony. But if the nature of the internal affairs investigation has to do with the actual investigation, then again, it'll be something. But they have no choice really, because if the prosecution doesn't call them, the defense is going to call them.
Yeah.
And so people were watching the Trump trial and they're like, what are they going to do with Michael Cohen, right? Because he cuts both ways. He's he's got information, but he's the weakness. And so what often happens is the prosecution tries to take the piss out of it by bringing up their troublesome witness, getting the information, and sort of bringing it out of them what an asshole they are. So it's not like a big thing when the defense does. If they leave the defense to do that, it has a lot of punch. And in the Karen Read prosecution, they had to bring in almost everybody to do just that.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't, if the prosecution just focused on what they believe happened in the street, well, then all that stuff would be brought in by the defense, and it would have been 2 weeks of all these people looking bad.
Right. So Buchanan and Tully are both superiors to Michael Proctor.
Correct. Yep. One's a sergeant, one I think is a lieutenant, right?
A detective.
Yeah, right.
Lieutenant. At trial, Buchanan testified that he and another investigator went to Read's parents' house in Dighton on January 29th. I'm quoting the Globe here. To see what she remembered from the night before. Read cut the interview short, he said, when they asked for specifics about a 3-point turn she said she made. Tully told jurors that Read made dozens of calls to O'Keefe's phone from 12:33 to 6:03 a.m. and that video footage appeared to show Read driving toward the Canton home about 45 minutes before she purportedly spotted O'Keefe's body on the front lawn with 2 other women. By the way, that was never proven that she was driving toward the Canton home. It was just a car similar to hers. It was never actually proven. What was interesting about this story was that they had a former federal prosecutor in here saying, quote, "It's going to be tough for prosecutors to salvage this case."
Agreed. Yep.
And then she says, Proctor was one of the worst law enforcement witnesses I have ever seen, maybe the worst since Mark Furman in the O.J. Simpson case. He's, quote, not likable, not credible, and what you do not want as your lead detective in a case where the defense is arguing a cover-up. With 2 other police officer witnesses now reportedly under investigation, the Commonwealth is going to have its hands full during the retrial. Basically, they have 3 experts in here. A president of the Massachusetts Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, who says that witness credibility is, quote, never collateral to the question of guilt. And then we have a professor from Northeastern University, who says one argument that they could make is that these overzealous but well-meaning police may have been trying to convict someone they believed was guilty, and that this behavior was highly regrettable but produced reliable evidence. Your adage of trial practice is that your case is only good as your witnesses. And so this is going to hurt them a lot.
Well, I think what they're going to do is they're going to drop the second-degree murder charge and go for vehicular homicide. Because everybody that I've talked to agrees that was overcharged. There's no way this is a second-degree murder case, So, but vehicular homicide sounds more in line with the charge that they allege. And, I mean, it seems to also be, the inside information here seems to be that the jury was deadlocked on that issue. They didn't believe anything else, but they were kind of thinking, the majority of them were thinking, well, this is probably what happened.
Right.
That's their strongest case.
Right. So,
they want to get... So you're right. There's a way to pare this down and try to, laser focus it. But because they're just... it's the prosecution that overplayed its hand.
Right. Well, you listened to my interview with Aidan Carney, right?
I did.
You heard me say that I think the defense made a mistake in not sort of putting out there the idea of, things just going weirdly wrong in the house and, covering up a horrible accident and panicking. Right.
And who knows if they had free-handed closing arguments.
Right. What they would have said. What they would have said.
I really, just as a side note, the judge determined that they get an hour. The defense took 2-3 days the most.
Yeah.
Right. And where the prosecution took a month. They really could have asked the judge, we really we
can't do this in an hour.
Yeah, but also can you do us a solid here? We could try to make all these points by bringing in bullshit witnesses or anything just so we can get the stuff on the record.
Yeah.
Or you can give us 2 hours.
Right.
Or give us the day, give us half a day, in some trials. It's just no, you only get an hour.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
I think she was tired of doing this trial.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of laziness on her part.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's we did you a solid by tightening this up and not dragging this out. Can you not try to get us done before lunchtime? It just seems...
It's weird.
Yeah.
Was there anything else from that interview that surprised you with Turtle Boy?
No, I mean, like I said, he's addicted to dicks. And that's fine, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he remains an interesting, enigmatic guy to me. And in some ways, sort of very, very central to this case, and in other ways, kind of a distraction. You know what I mean? But I think I still contend he's right. I mean, I really do believe about this. There's that. All right, well, Kevin, that's what I had today for the Readathon. I'm going to continue to follow up on some of the trial minutia and show you some stuff that you missed during the trial.
But what's coming up next week?
What's coming up next week?
It's going to be the oral arguments for the dismissal.
Yes.
And we're actually not going to be in the studio.
Oh, we're recording, though.
We will do something. I think maybe we could live stream or something like that.
We're bringing our Zoom.
Oh, we're bringing the Zoom.
We're bringing our Zoom on vacation with us.
Okay, all right, we're bringing the gear. Okay.
We will be discussing. We're not going to miss an opportunity to Readathon. And we could live stream too. We'll see. But we are going to be on our beach vacation next week. That does not mean, however, that we're going to be skipping any Readathons. Maybe we'll meet some real live Massachusetts people. We can ask them about what they think.
We will.
I'm going to be wearing my...
But if you don't want to go to Falmouth and start bringing up the free Karen Reed stuff, someone might punch you in the nose.
No, should I wear my framed...
you should. See what happens.
Karen Reed branded...
We'll go to the local...
tank top?
The local grill. The bar and grill.
Yes.
And wear your Karen Reed framed T-shirt, which is framed and it's
a license plate.
It's a license plate, but it's reversed.
It's backwards.
It's back.
I bought it from the Microdots website. It's very funny.
Oh man.
All right, guys. That's it for this time on the Readathon, and we will talk to you as soon as we want to talk to you, which I'm guessing will be sooner rather than later. All right, talk soon.
Partners in Crime Media.